I think it's very important to understand that the Communist Party of China, Xi Jinping, is in an alliance with the Islamic Republic of Iran, obviously also with the neo-imperialist regime with Vladimir Putin. They have a no limits, as they describe it, partnership. And also the nuclear armed regime in North Korea. That regime is nuclear armed with increasingly sophisticated missiles because American diplomats, going back to Bill Clinton, failed in their negotiations. They kept saying, "We'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you money," and they said, "That's great. Then we won't develop nuclear weapons." And they did anyway. That was the failure of diplomacy, which a lot of people want a failure of diplomacy all over again. Xi Jinping has provided precursor materials for missiles. They've helped the regime build up. We believe they provided targeting information on American troops over there. What would be great is for President Trump to say, "Let me explain. We are going to take the Strait of Hormuz and enforce basic international law, freedom of navigation there. No country is going to take that over as their property. Iran is not going to do that. And once we have that, you can be sure that all the oil and gas you need from that region will go freely through that strait because we're protecting it. That we can guarantee you, as long as you and I have good relations, and I'm sure we're going to."
Cliff, how do you see this in terms of it being a victory for the United States and President Trump coming out of this meeting? In other words, what are the goalposts shifting? What exactly needs to happen for him to come back to America and say, "Yeah, mission accomplished. We did what we needed to do over there"?
Well, President Trump is good at saying mission accomplished. We did what we need to do.
That's true.
No matter what happens. I don't think there's, from what I'm hearing from the White House, they're not raising expectations usually high. They're going to talk about trade. He's going to try to get him to be helpful with the Strait of Hormuz and with Iran rather than unhelpful. He's going to say, "Listen, we're economically strangling this regime right now. They're losing $400 to $500 million a day. They're going to pretty soon have no money to pay soldiers, to pay the Basiji thugs who killed protesters." Remember that in January, 30 to 40,000 innocent dissidents, protesters, opposition were slaughtered. That's a huge number. People don't have that through their head. So I think he's going to say, we're going to strangle this regime. I'm going to go back to hitting this regime in military infrastructure, but maybe personnel. I think I can get down to a level of people who are not so true believers, who are more agnostic. So I'd like you to help me on this. And if so, it'll be in your interest. If not, well, then we have a problem.